Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
Breaking news alert. A mother is under arrest and her son is in the hospital after police say she threw her child off a balcony. St. Paul police were called to an apartment this morning and found an 11-year-old boy outside on the ground with multiple broken bones. He was rushed to the hospital and is seriously hurt but is expected to survive. Authorities then arrested the 33-year-old mother for allegedly throwing the child over the edge. No other information is available at this time, but stay with us as we continue to look for more answers. Developing story this afternoon. 2 men are dead and deputies are on paid administrative leave after an officer-involved shooting in central Minnesota. The Cass County Sheriff's Office responded to calls of shots fired and an intruder inside a house in Bacchus, Minnesota over the weekend. When they arrived, they were met on the street by a man with a gun who was shot and killed by deputies when he approached them. Officers then found another dead man when they checked inside the house. Autopsies are scheduled in Ramsey County and the deputies have been placed on paid administrative leave. The identities of the men or the officers involved have not been released at this time. Just an hour ago, the mayor of Moorhead signed a flooding emergency declaration for the city. This comes in anticipation of a major spring flooding. The Red River has a 50% chance of hitting nearly 35 feet. At that point, some underpasses go underwater and some bridges around the metro close. Fargo, West Fargo, and Cass County have already declared emergencies. Fargo-Moorhead saw the highest flooding crest in 2009 when the river hit 40.84 feet. And to get ready for the river to roam this year, the city of Fargo and Cass County are teaming up at Sandbag Central. They need about 200 people every hour to reach the goal of 400,000 sandbags. Those hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunny and blue skies out there today, but you take a step outside, a little chillier than what we've been used to. At least we were pretty spoiled over the weekend. But for what we can expect for the rest of our Monday, let's head on over to First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Lisa Green.
We are slowing down that melt a little bit today with temperatures well below the freezing mark. We're looking at 13 in Fargo right now. It's 8 in Grand Forks, and conditions are... There we go. Teens. Right now, 13 degrees in Fargo, 8 in Grand Forks. We're looking at 7 in Thief River Falls and Crookston, so well below freezing here this afternoon. So freezing back that meltwater right back up here. Here's a look at your wind speeds. We are into the teens right now. We're still seeing a gust in Fergus Falls to 21. So getting that northerly flow, keeping things on the cool side here. And a look at your radar and satellite map. Where you see movement, that's the cloud cover passing through. Where you see white that isn't moving, that's the snowpack still holding strong, especially in the northern valley. A look at your hourly planner today. You can expect to see temperatures into the teens and 20s coming up as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll see a high of about 23 degrees in Fargo. So looking at some conditions that are going to be a little colder to start the week. We do have some good news about a warm up coming in just a few minutes.
All right, look forward to it. Thank you, Lisa. New at noon, Fargo police are warning the community about a high-risk sex offender living just a few blocks from an elementary school. 57-year-old Daniel Shern will be living at 1418 First Avenue South. That's close to Jefferson Elementary. He has been convicted for forcing a 7-year-old girl to sexually touch him, and he also had more than 5,000 images of child porn on his computer. High-risk sex offenders are the most likely to recommit a disturbing crime. And the Fargo police are also warning about these 2 sex offenders who will be living in the same house. They will be in the 700 block of College Street North. That's close to NDSU. Michael Nelson was convicted of corruption and solicitation of a minor in 2009 after providing alcohol to a teen and then raping her. Daniel Grinder was convicted of 3 counts of gross sexual imposition in 2007 with victims under the age of 15. A Fargo woman is running for a seat on the city commission. Arlette Preston said this morning that she is running for her old seat. She first served from 1992 to 2000 and has also served on the park board and as chair of the Fargo Arts and Culture Commission. Former Vice President Joe Biden is getting endorsements from North Dakota politicians. Former Senators Byron Dorgan, Kent Conrad, and Heidi Heitkamp have endorsed Biden. Former Congressman Earl Pomeroy also backs the former vice president. These endorsements come one day before North Dakotans will have their say in the primary process. Democrats will caucus in the state tomorrow. Your retirement account took a major hit this morning. Coronavirus fears sent stocks into free fall. The Dow Jones plunged more than 1,800 points on the opening bell, prompting trading to stop. And oil prices cratered after OPEC failed to reach an agreement to cut production. Financial advisors say it's important not to act rashly, but to consider how much risk you're able to stand. If you are nearing retirement age, it would be wise to move to safer investments. But if you have a few decades until then, now is not the time to sell stocks, as you could miss the rebound from the downturn. A cruise ship held for days off the coast of California is finally docking today. More than 3,500 passengers will come ashore after a 2-week cruise from San Francisco to Hawaii turned into a nightmare at sea. Miguel Almaguer has our story.
After being held in the waters off the California coast since Thursday, this morning the Grand Princess cruise ship will finally dock here at a shipping port in Oakland.
I could wave home, but we can't get there. So that's very frustrating.
Upon docking, passengers will be transferred to military bases for medical screening and testing. Some will head to a 14-day quarantine at military bases in California, Texas, and Georgia. Crew members will remain quarantined on board the ship.
I want folks to know we're doing everything in our power 24/7 to secure their safety, their health as our top priority.
This as the State Department issued a serious new travel warning saying U.S. citizens, particularly travelers with underlying health conditions, should not travel by cruise ship. It's potentially a huge blow to the $50 billion a year industry, which supports more than 420,000 jobs. Aboard the Grand Princess, 45 people showing symptoms or considered high risk underwent testing for coronavirus last week. 21 tested positive, only 2 were passengers. 2 critical patients have already been taken off the ship.
It feels like we're in a cell.
On board, confusion for passengers as the ship's captain announced they'd be disembarking Sunday, only to learn from media reports they would not be heading to shore until today.
We feel like we're not getting, an accurate story of what's going to be happening.
After 4 days in limbo, passengers isolated in their rooms were given crossword puzzles and craft boxes to pass the time. Eva Weisberg and her husband Ron say they'll file this lawsuit against Princess Cruises today, accusing them of negligence.
Anybody who catches coronavirus and has a severe heart condition like I do, it could be fatal.
This morning, a nightmare at sea, finally coming closer to an end.
Medical teams boarded the ship on Sunday to triage passengers, determining the order they'll leave. Those most in need of immediate medical care will be the first ones off.